Bol. My Dandavat pranams to everybody. Hari Bol, Hari Krishna. Today, Alta Rat, the day that Jagannath Dev returns to his palace, his temple, Niladri, from Gundicha, the return journey, Alta Rat. So, today is 15th, Monday, 24th July. 15th of July, Monday, 2024. So we're continuing our Jaiva Dharma reading, and we'll have a kirtan first. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Jaya Girivardhari Jaya Girivardhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Unatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Oh Hare Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ramo 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 Hare Hare Oh Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Nityananda Rai Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jai Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Radhe, Jai Shri Radhe, 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 Radhe. Jai Shri Shri Guru Garanga Ganhabhaga Girit Hari. Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai. Brishabhananandini Vajeshwari Radharani Ki Jai. Nityananda Rai Ki Jai. Satchinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Surabhi Kunj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tarazara Shishimat. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tarazara Shishimat. Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tarazara Shishimat. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Lila Pravishta Om. Asto Tarazara Shishimat. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudi Acharya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Vishnath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Treya Ki Jai. Jai Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Shri Bhata Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopala Paradasa Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Arupa Nuga Guru Varga Ki Jai. Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parasada Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Hardas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Siga Hol Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Shri Gauda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Antadvip Mayapur Simantadvip Gautramdvip Madhyadvip Koladvip Ritudvip Janadvip Maudandvip Rudradvip Atmaka Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwarasavar Matmika Shri Braja Mandal Ki Jai. Shri Radha Kun Shama Kun Ganga Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shrimati Brinda Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Shrimati Yogamaya Purnamasi Devi Maharani Ki Jai. Gopeshwar Mahadev Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Sudarshan Chakra Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Altarat Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai. Ketra Mandal Ki Jai. Sarva Vigna Vanasa Karishina Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Bhakta Prabha Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Charidam Ki Jai, Chari Sampradaya Ki Jai, Chari Acharya Ki Jai, Akara Mataraj Shri Chaitanya Mat Ki Jai, Shri Keshav Ji Gaudiya Mat Ki Jai, Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Anantakota Vaishnava Brinda Ki Jai, Samagat Bhakta Brinda Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Almighty Nati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadabhaktaya Namo Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Shtapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Katamayam Tadati Shwapatantikam Anapita Chirim Chirat Karuna Vartino Kalo Samarpaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Savakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundaratuti Katam Basadipita Sada Hridare Kandare Spuratu Basachinandanaha Yam Pravajantam Anapetyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putre Titam Mayatayo Tarabhubanidus Tam Sarvabhutam Hridim Munimanatoshmi Bhaktiya vihina aparada lakshay shiptascha karmadi tarangamadye kripamai tvam sharanam prapana brinde namaste charanaravindam Vajami radam aravinda netram smarami radam madhurashmitasyam vadami radam karuna baradram tatoma manastigati nakapi Tavaivasmi najivami tvaivina iti vignaya radhe tvam nayavam sharanantikam. I'm first of all offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev, Nitya Leela, Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasadashi Shimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again, millions of times, unto Nitya Leela Pravishta Om, Asto Tarasadashi Shimad, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And I'm offering the same again to our dearmost Namo Bhakti Vinodaya, Satchidananda Namane, Gauda Shakti Swarupaya, Rupanuga Varayate, and all our illustrious Rupanuga Guru Varga, and all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. Vansha Kalpa Tarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubevacha, Patitanam Pavnibhyo Vaishnave Namo Namaha. So coming to our Falshruti, laying the foundation for our Jaiva Dharma reading. Pritiviti Yatakata, over on page 829. Pritiviti Yatakata Dharma Name Chale, Bhagavata Kahishabai Paripurna Chale, as indicated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.2. All the philosophies on earth that are celebrated as Dharma are utterly deceptive. And Srila Krishna's Kaviraj, he's quoting exactly the same in the beginning of the Chaitanya Charitamrita. In Adi Lila, chapter 1, verse 90, he talks about the darkness of ignorance is called Kaitava, the way of cheating, which begins with religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, and liberation. So it's saying exactly the same. Then the beautiful verse, Dharma Projita Kaitavatra Parama Niyamat Saranam Shatam, that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has quoted here. And then again, it's saying the foremost process of cheating is to desire to achieve liberation by merging into the Supreme, for this causes the permanent disappearance of loving service to Krishna. And in that verse, Dharma Projita Kaitavatra, the prefix pra in the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam indicates that desire for liberation is completely rejected. In other words, this Jaiva Dharma is coming completely in the same channel as the Srimad Bhagavatam. All kinds of activities, both auspicious and inauspicious, that are detrimental to the discharge of transcendental loving service to Sri Krishna are actions of darkness, of ignorance. And then it's saying, by the grace of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, this darkness of ignorance is removed and the truth is brought to light. So, just a reaffirmation of this verse, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's first verse in his Falshruti. Actually, it's quoted in many places in the Srimad Bhagavatam directly itself, saying exactly the same thing. Chale dharma chadikara satya dharma mati chatuvaragya tyajitara nitya premagati. One should completely abandon such deceptive dharmas and absorb his mind in true dharma. So this deceptive dharma is the idea for moksha, ultimately. In other words, one should give up the fourfold goals of material life, dharma, artha, karma, moksha, and aspire solely for the ultimate destination of nitya prem, into the transcendental realm. This is the gift that Mahaprabhu is offering the conditioned soul through the practice of the Mahamantra. It'll carry us across the Viraja river. It'll carry us, first of all, into good association by chanting. And then from that chanting, the association will clear the avidya within the heart of the conditioned soul. And then when this vidya starts to arise, this clarity, this perception, this Shuddha Bhakti will start to manifest, and then one will become educated sufficiently to appreciate initially and understand something of these topics where they're taking us directly into the transcendental realm rather than moksha or dharma or artha or karma. So this is indicating that don't linger in this material world, but quickly take to this process enthusiastically and reach for that transcendental goal. And by the mercy of Krishna, by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of our Guru Varga, we will certainly attain that place of consciousness. Don't think that just death is the place where I'm going to attain that consciousness. That's called Vastu Siddhi. But there's this Siddhi before the stage of Vastu Siddhi. This Swarup Siddhi, the realized stage. Amitva mimamsa brahme nija jada buddhi nirvishesha brahm gyan nahi chida shuddhi. Those who are deluded identify themselves with matter. That is their error. However, one cannot be purified by such delusion by endeavors for nirvishesh brahm gyan. Again, he's saying the same principle. Don't look to this nirvishesh brahm gyan for the final conclusion. It's Shantaras. We're discussing all the different rasas now. So Shantaras is considered the lowest ras in this material world. Or rather, in the material world, it's considered the highest ras, but in the spiritual world, it's considered the lowest ras. So we would be denying ourselves access to the pure rasas where deep sambandha has developed in Dasya, Sakya, Vatsalya, and certainly Madhurya Ras. So this is what we're discussing in our chapters in Rasa Tattva. Amitva mimamsa brahme. Oh, I just read that. No. Amimamsa brahme nija. Yes, I did read that. Ivicharata hina hale nirvishesha hoy kala samotulya seha aprakrtanoi. The Mayavadi thinks Sri Krishna to be subject to the limitations of time, such as birth and death, and considers that he is not transcendental. Thus he rejects Sri Bhagavan's Vichitrata, astonishing characteristics, paraphernalia qualities, and Leela. Through this vicious attempt, he is left with the philosophy of Nirvishesh Brahm. That is the conclusion of Nirvishesh Brahm. There's no sambandha in that place. I'm listening to the Kirtan returning from, they've just taken Lord Jagannath, Baladev and Subhadra, who've been residing here in Surabhi Kunj for the last 5 days. And today, an hour or so ago, it was a big festival, and they just took the deities back to the ISKCON Jagannath temple, which is a few kilometers, couple of kilometers down the road, with the Rath cart. So many Rath carts are in the area today, all returning Jagannath to the Mandir. So I hope they won't turn the loudspeakers on too much. Kande jnana hoya dharma arche sunishchaya prakriti hoya kavu aprakritanaya. Such base and contemptible gyan, which arises out of an attempt to dismember the divine form of Bhagavan, is only fit to be rejected. It is prakrita, materialistic, and should never be given credence as aprakata. So 5 verses, and there's more in the Falshrutis that are completely substantiating what is our path, what is not our path, what is the Tatashta Lakshan, that's what is not, and what is the Sarup Lakshan, the Swarup Lakshan, what is the objective of the sadhak's practice. What is his desire to attain? What is his objective to attain? So we've been going through many incredible revelations, we can say, in this Rasa Tattva, describing so many aspects of the speciality of the different rasas and the relationships that Krishna has all these individual relationships that Krishna has with the sadhaks. So now we come to chapter 32. This is Madhurya Ras Vichar. Vichar means consideration. Madhurya Ras Vichar, Parakya Nayikas. So we've already discussed quite a lot about Parakya, and this is paramount to Braj. In Vrindavan, the particular ras of the Brajaramanis, the gopis, has to be in Parakya ras. This is the highest state that the of love that can be attained. So I told the story a few days ago about how Radha was going to be married to Krishna, but Yogamaya arranged for her not to be married. So this is very important to appreciate, that Yogamaya is orchestrating everything for the pleasure of Krishna, and his desire not to be considered the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is his desire. Krishna is Mugdata and he's Sarvagya. He's all-knowing, and yet he doesn't know anything. When he's in Braj, he's just Mother Yashoda's little child, being naughty and chastised, etc. And chastised by the gopis also, and defeated by the cowherd boys also. So this gives Krishna great, great pleasure. It's a very, very special ras. And this relationship between Krishna and the gopis, it must be in Parakya. If it's in Swakya, the marital relationship, then it's limited. It doesn't have the same unlimited nature as the Parakya ras. So we'll hear this today. It was night. Brajanath had completed his bhajan for that day. Putting his Harinam Mala aside, he fell asleep. Vijay Kumar had honored Prasad and lay on his bed, but sleep would not come, for he was absorbed in thought. At first, he had the idea that Golok and Gokul were different places. Now, however, he concluded that Golok and Gokul are non-different. They're non-different, but there is a Vaishishtya, a speciality, otherwise they wouldn't have different names like this. There is a speciality in Golok, and there is a speciality in Gokul. The root of Parakya ras is in Golok, the root of it, not the flourishing, blossoming vine of it. That is actually in Gokul. But how can Krishna be Upapati, Paramo there? He could not comprehend this point. So he's thinking about how could Krishna be the Paramo in Golok? If Krishna is the supreme substance, he thought, and Shakti and Shaktiman are non-different, even if Shakti becomes separated from Shaktiman, how can Shakti be called Proda, married to a Gopa other than Krishna, and Krishna be called Upapati, Paramo? So he's contemplating these topics very deeply. At first he thought, tomorrow I will ask Sri Gurudev the question and have my doubt removed. But then he thought it would be improper to ask Gurudev anything further about Golok. Still, it must be cleared. Pondering in this way, he finally fell asleep. While asleep, he dreamt that he was in the presence of his Gurudev, and in order to vanquish his doubt, he was asking the very question that had preoccupied him just before he fell asleep. Gurudev replied, Baba Vijay, Krishna is fully independent in all activities. We read in the 14th chapter, Krishna is Swatantra Mayata, he's Icha Mayata. He has freedom and he has free will. He's fully independent, Krishna. So they're celebrating. I think you can hear it. I hope it's not disturbing. Gurudev replied, Baba Vijay, Krishna is fully independent in all activities. and his unimpeded desires are not dependent on the desires of others. This means full freedom from others. Krishna is that autocratic, independent entity, Vastu. His eternal desire is that Aishwarya should be concealed and his Madhurya should be manifested. This is what he wants. Accordingly, he assigns to his Shakti an existence separate from himself. Consequently, his Parashakti assumes the form of millions of attractive young gopis, all endeavoring to render him various services. This is all his Parashakti, coming directly from the Lord. So how can there be any anomaly or fault in Krishna's relationship with his Shaktis? Still, Krishna is not fully satisfied by his Shakti services, while it is influenced by knowledge of his opulence. Therefore, by the wonderful influence of his Yogamaya Shakti, he provides those beautiful gopis with the abhiman, self-conception, that they belong to separate households. That is to say, through the influence of that Shakti, Yogamaya, they consider themselves the wives of others, and simultaneously, Krishna also assumes the relationship of their Uppati, Paramo. Very clear. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is gifting us such clarity here. Without really appreciating these topics, how can we appreciate Mahaprabhu's gifts? How can we appreciate Rupa Goswami's books, the Goswami's teachings? These are the foundation of their teachings. Out of lobe, greed for Parakiya Ras, Krishna transcends his Atmarama Dhamma, self-satisfied nature, and performs varieties of wonderful leelas, such as Rasa Leela, with those young gopis who implicitly believe that they are married to others. Vamsi is his Priya Saki, dear friend, in accomplishing this activity, in order that Krishna taste these special features of eternal Parakiya Bhav. In order to taste these special features, the eternal Parakiya Bhav is established in Golok. For this reason, all the pastime forests of Golok and the sites of Krishna's loving play, such as Vrindavan, remain eternally present. All the Leela stans, places of pastimes in Braj, such as the arena of the Ras, Jamuna, and Giri Govardhan, are in Golok, and in this way, the moods of being married, Dampatya Bhav, are being faithful, and of being faithful to one's husband, Svakiyatava Bhav, are present there. This is the mood of Golok. Shuddha Svakiyatva, the pure conjugal mood, reigns splendidly in Vaikuntha. The qualities of Swakiya and Parakiya are thus considered to be inconceivably different and non-different. So this is for our meditation to appreciate. Just see, this subject is so astounding. In Golok, Parakiya Bhav is present only as Abhiman, a conception. In Braj, it appears to be like an affair with another's wife. When he's saying Braj here, this means Boma Vrindavan. But there is actually no adultery because the young gopis are Krishna's own Shakti. Krishna is united with them from the beginning of time. Therefore, their fundamental beginning of time, this is relating to the material world. Therefore, their fundamental quality is actually perfect faithfulness to one's husband, Svakiyatva, and the quality of being married, Dampatya. The Gopas, such as Abhimanyu, are special avatars of their respective conceptions in Golok. They become husbands to nourish Krishna's Leela and to make him the Leela of Vilas pastimes on the stage of Braj in the mood of an Upati. In Golok, which is far beyond the material world, Rasa is nourished only by this conception. Within the material universe of Gokul, all the conceptions manifest their individual existences and assume bodies by Yogamaya's influence in order to create the experience of being married. So in Gokul here, this is referencing the spiritual realm. And this is arranged by Yogamaya's potency to give the gopis in Gokul the conception. We've already discussed this, that they have husbands, but actually they don't have husbands. But in this Boma Vrindavan, they do have husbands. Within the material universe of Gokul, all the conceptions manifest their individual existences and assume bodies by Yogamaya's influence in order to create the experience of being married. This is all Yogamaya's arrangement. And then to transgress the codes of marital conduct. All this is accomplished by the actions of Yogamaya. This also demonstrates the utter Sharanagat of the gopis themselves, because they have the abhiman that they have husbands, and yet in their enthusiasm to please Krishna, to answer the call of his flute song and run to the forest in the middle of the night, they break all dharma, all chastity, all morality. They break that for the purpose of serving Krishna. So this is the highest example of utter Sharanagati, neglecting social norms, etc., and just engaging exclusively in focusing on the Nitya Prem, rather than the false conceptions of material dharma. When Vijay Kumar had thus heard Swakiya and Parakya Tattva explained by Gurudev in his dream, his doubts were dispelled. Golok, beyond the mundane world, is factually the self-same Boma, earthly Gokul. His conviction in this fact became steadfast, and the supremely blissful identity of Brajras arose in his heart. So the referencing Golok in the spiritual world and Gokul in this world, this is how it's mapped out here by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. At the same time, he felt an awakening of implicit faith in the Nitya Astakalya Leela of Braj. Rising early the next morning, he thought, Sri Gurudev has shown me unlimited mercy. Now I will hear from him about the components of Ras, and then attain Nishta in Bhajan. So now he wants to go forward with his Bhajan and have everything clarified for him by Gurudev's mercy. Vijay Kumar honored Prasad and came before his Gurudev at the prearranged time. Shedding tears of prem, he offered his pranam. Gurudev lovingly embraced him and said, Baba, Krishna has favored you with his genuine mercy. Thus I have become fortunate simply by seeing you. As he said this, the powerful influence of prem made his mind unsteady. After a short time, when Goswamiji regained external perception, Vijay Kumar offered his sastang pranam and said, Prabhu, I do not know Krishna's mercy. I only know your mercy. Now I have given up trying to realize Golok. I am fully satisfied in the endeavor to attain realization of Braj. I want to thoroughly understand the fascinating varieties of Braja Ras. Kindly tell me, can the unmarried gopis who maintained the mood that Krishna was their husband be called Swakiya or not? So the unmarried gopis, the Kamya Kumaris. Goswami, those unmarried gopis of Gokul were Swakiya at that time, because their nishta in the mood of approaching Krishna as their husband. Oh, sorry, I'll read it again. Those unmarried gopis of Gokul were Swakiya at that time, because of their nishta in the mood of approaching Krishna as their husband. But their intrinsic mood is Parakiya. Although their Swakiya mood is not natural, their Swakiya relationship is perfected in that particular condition in Gokul Lila, because Krishna accepted them as his wives by the Gandharva Vihara Riti, the custom of marriage by the exchange of garlands. So we know the pastime in Bandirvan, at the Bandirvan tree, where Krishna married Sri Radhika, and all the devas came and honored that marriage between Radha and Krishna. That's a very beautiful pastime. Vijay, Prabhu, in due course I will ask many questions, one after the other. I want to understand all the topics of Sri Ujjvala Nilamani in the sequence in which they have been presented. First, I wish to learn all about Nayak, heroes. There are 4 types of Nayak, namely Anukul, Dakshin, Sata, and Drista. Please describe the Anukul, favorable Nayak. Goswami. The Anukul Nayak is he who gives up the desire for other attractive maidens because of extreme attachment to only one Nayika, heroine. The bhav of Sri Ramchandraji towards Sri Sita Devi and of Sri Krishna towards Srimati Radhikaji is that of the Anukul Nayak. So the Anukul Nayak is favorable towards one queen, so to speak, one heroine, one Nayika. Vijay, I want to know the identity of the various bhavs, such as Anukul, of the 4 types of Nayak, such as Dhirodata. Kindly describe the symptoms of the Dhirodata Anukul Nayak. Goswami, the Dhirodata Anukul Nayak is grave, humble, forgiving, compassionate, resolute, steadfast in his vows, free from vanity, modest and extremely munificent. Still, he renounces all those qualities for the sake of his Nayika and goes to meet with her in secret. Vijay, please tell me the symptoms of Dhira Lalit Anukul Nayak. Goswami, the Dhira Lalit Nayak is by nature a connoisseur of ras, ever youthful, expert in joking, and free from anxiety. The Dhira Lalit Anukul Nayak has all these, combined with the symptom of enjoying uninterrupted pleasure. Vijay, what is Dhira Shanta Anukul Nayak? Goswami, the Dhira Shanta Anukul Nayak is naturally serene and tolerant, wise and considerate. Vijay, kindly explain the symptoms of the Dhirodata Anukul Nayak. Goswami, when the Nayak, who is envious, proud, deceitful, easily angered, and boastful, is favorable, he is called Dhirodata Anukul Nayak. So these 4 types of hero are being described. Vijay, what is a Dakshin Nayak? Goswami, the word Dakshin means simple and honest. A Dakshin Nayak is he who does not give up respect, awe, and submissive love for his previous beloved, even when he gives his heart to another Nayika. One who is equally disposed towards many heroines is also called a Dakshin Nayak. All of these terminologies are very helpful when we're reading especially this Ujjvala Nilamani, and we're reading different descriptions of Krishna's pastimes. These different heroes will be mentioned, these different Nayaks will be mentioned, and these are the references where we can appreciate the distinct qualities of these different Nayaks. This is why it's being given here. Vijay, what are the symptoms of Shata Nayak? Goswami, a Shata Nayak is endearing in the presence of his beloved, but he secretly commits grave offenses by acting in an unloving manner behind her back. Goswami, a Drista Nayak, Vijay, What are the characteristics of a Drista Nayak? Goswami, a Drista Nayak is completely fearless, an expert at lying, even though everyone can clearly see the signs of his having enjoyed the company of another beloved. So these are descriptions to give us the complete whole picture of all the different intricacies within the Rasa Tattva appreciations. And at different points in our studies and readings, then we will appreciate these Nayaks much more by having read this. This is very helpful. Vijay, Prabhu, how many different types of Nayak are there? Goswami, as far as we are concerned, Krishna is the only Nayak. There is no one beside him. That one Krishna is Purna, perfect in Dwarka, Purnatara, more perfect in Mathura, and Purnatatam, most perfect in Braj. He is both Pati, husband, and Upapati, paramour, in all three of these places. Thus, he is 6, which equals 2 times 3 types of Nayak in all three places. Furthermore, because of the 4 categories, beginning with Dhirodata, he embodies 24, which equals 6 times 4 types. Then again, these types are divided into Anukul, Dakshin, Shata, and Drista. So there are 96, which equals 24 times 4 types of Nayak. Now you should know that there are 24 types of Nayak in Swakya Ras and 24 types of Nayak again in Parakya Ras. In Braj Leela, Swakya Ras is a contracted bhav. Contracted, it's not manifesting. And Parakya Ras predominates. Thus the 24 types of Nayak in Parakya Ras are eternally and splendidly manifest in Sri Krishna's Braj. He is perceived as whatever type of Nayak is necessary to perform any particular part in any aspect of his Leela. Vijay, Prabhu, I have realized the various qualities of Nayak and Nayika. Now I want to know how many types of assistants, Sahayaka, the Nayak has. So I think I said at the beginning that I was simply going to read through this. I'm not stopping to unpack it and go through it at this stage. Perhaps at a later stage when we can be in smaller groups where we can communicate with each other, then we can have further discussions on this. But for now, I simply want to open this out for our appreciation. Goswami, the Nayak has 5 types of assistants, namely Cheta, Vita, Vidusaka, and Pita Mard, and Priyanam Saka. They are all expert in using joking words. They are always intensely devoted to Krishna with anurag, deep love. They know how to behave according to the occasion and circumstance. They are expert and they are adept in the art of pleasing the gopis when they become angry, as well as giving confidential advice. All 5 types of assistants have these qualities. So we're describing the gopas here. What are the attributes of the Cheta assistants? Goswami, they are expert in discovering anything. They perform secret tasks, and their disposition is somewhat bold and arrogant. In Gokul, Sakas such as Bangura and Bringara perform the activities of Krishna's Cheta. This Bangura is Govinda in Mahaprabhu's pastime, who serves Krishna, who serves Mahaprabhu. And Bringara is the other disciple, Kashishwar Pandit, who was sent by Ishwarapuri. Ishwarapuri, when he was leaving this world, he sent 2 foremost disciples directly to serve Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. One was Govinda, who became his direct personal servant, and the other was Kashishvara, Pandit. And he was a very large figured man, and he would walk in front of Mahaprabhu, holding the crowds back when he was going to the Jagannath temple, etc. And he offered his services, his body, in that sense. And of course we know the exceptional service of Govinda daily, would never leave the side of Mahaprabhu and always be there serving him in every single capacity that was necessary. Very good. So they are called Cheta. This is described in here, in this Radhakana Yashtipika. All of these different personalities are described. The Sakas is what we're describing now, and the lists of the different Sakas, particularly we're talking now about the Chetas. They are all described in here very clearly. So we can augment our study with this. Perform the activities of Krishna's Cheta. Vijay, who are called Vita. Goswami, Krishna's Vita, such as Kadara and Bharati Banda, are extremely talented in activities such as dressing and decorating Krishna. They are cunning, skilled in conversation, and expert in manipulating others. Vijay, who are the Vidusakas? Goswami, the Vidusakas are fond of eating and quarreling. They are expert at making others laugh with their comical gestures, words, and dress. Madhumangal and Gopas such as Vasant are prominent among Krishna's Vidusakas. So we're hearing all the different types of heroes. Vijay, who is in the category of Pita Mard? Goswami, Sridham is Krishna's Pita Mard. Through his qualities, though his qualities are just like those of a Nayak, he conducts all his activities according to the order of the Nayak. So his qualities are like that of a Nayak. And if you visit the place of Abhiram Das Thakur, who is Sridham in Mahaprabhu Leela, I'll post a picture afterwards of their altar that's there, and it's got Abhiram Das Thakur himself as Sridham is on the altar with Krishna with a peacock feather, being exactly like a Nayak. So this was the mood of Sridham. He had the same potencies as Krishna to relish the relationship with Krishna on that level. So it's a very special type of relationship. That's Sridham Saka. Vijay, what are the symptoms of the Priyanam Sakas? Goswami, they are privy to extremely confidential secrets and have taken shelter of the bhavs of the Sakis. Subal and Arjun are prominent among Krishna's Priyanam Sakas. This is Arjuna Vrindavan, of course, not Arjuna on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. Thus they are the best of all Krishna's friends. Among these five, Cheta, Vita, Vidusaka, Pita Mard, and Priyanam Saka, the Chetas are in Dasyaras, just like Govinda and Kashishvara Pandit that I've just described. And Pita Mards are in Viraras, chivalry mood, and the rest are in Sakyaras. The Chetas are servants, Kinkara, and the other four are Sakas. Vijay, are there no female assistants, Sahayakas? Goswami, yes there are, and they are called duties, messengers. Vijay, how many types of duty are there? Goswami, there are two kinds, Swayam duty and Apta duty. Kataksha, the sidelong glance, and Vamsidvani, the sound of Krishna's flute, are Swayam duties. Fascinating. Swayam duties, the sidelong glance and the sound of Krishna's flute. Vijay, aha, who are the Apta duties? Goswami, Vira is proficient in speaking bold words, and Vrinda is expert in persuasive flattery. They are both Sri Krishna's apta duties. The Swayam duties and apta duties are extraordinary duties. Apart from them, there are ordinary messengers such as Lingini, Daiva Gyan, and Silpa Karini. I will describe them elaborately later in the context of Nayakas and duties. So now he's just describing the Nayaka, but he's going to describe them later as the heroines. Vijay, I have understood the mood and attributes of Sri Krishna as Nayak. I have also heard that Sri Krishna performs Nitya Lila in both Pati and Upapati Bhav. He performs pastimes in Dwarka as Pati Bhav and in Brajpuri as Upapati Bhav. Our Krishna is Upapati, so it is essential for us to know about the Braja Ramanis, the charming young gopis. So now he wants to change the focus to the gopis. Goswami, most of the damsels of Braj with whom Brajendranandan Shyam Sundar performs pastimes are in Parakiya Bhav because Madhurya Ras does not fully develop without Parakiya. The Ras of the charming ladies of Dwarkapuri remains limited by their marital relationship, whereas the Ras of the female residents of Braj, who possess the Shuddha Kam, from which Krishna derives the utmost happiness, is unrestricted, akunta. Vijay, what is the purport of this? Goswami, Sri Rudra, who is highly knowledgeable in the subject of Shringara Ras, states that the supreme weapons of Kandarpa, Cupid, are obstacles such as the contrary moods of women, Vamata, and the extreme difficulty in meeting with women, Dulabhata, because of the prohibitions that society imposes. Chanika Pandit has stated that the Nayaka's heart becomes more deeply attached when he is forbidden to meet his beloved, and when the doe-eyed beloved is difficult to attain. Look, although Krishna is Atmaramita, at the time of Ras Lila, he manifested himself in as many swarups as there were gopis, and then performed Lila with them. Every sadhak should follow Ras Lila. Here, the special instruction is that if the sadhaks desire auspiciousness, they should enter this Rasa Lila as a bhakta, but they should never imitate Krishna. In other words, they should enter this Lila only by becoming a follower of a gopi, by adopting the mood of gopi bhav. So these are direct indications from Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, who is so prominently re-establishing the teachings of Rupa Goswami in our line. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, he said once he proclaimed that don't leave the Rasa Lila in the hands of Sahajias. It is the Gaudiya's property. It is our property, this Rasa Lila. Our property to understand and appreciate and respect fully, and then to persevere in our sadhan bhajan to get the mercy, the extraordinary mercy from Rupa Goswami, from all the Goswamis, to actually be able to become eligible to enter in to that ras in our siddha sarir, in our perfected body. That is our goal, that is our intention, to purify the material conception to a degree where we're just simply merged in thoughts of Krishna's Nitya Prem. How can I serve that Supreme Lord? And it's not about some material type of accomplishment. It's about the bhav of the heart arising out of pure Shuddha Sattva, pure love for the Vishaya, for the object. And in the Sangha of my Gurudev, he always pronounced the expression, I want to be a Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika. This is the Vishaya, we can say, that we are following Sri Radhika. We are following her moods. It's called Bhavolas. That is the moods that the sadhak has that opportunity. My Gurudev was giving this teaching very clearly, regularly, for us to aim for this objective. Chanika Pandit has stated that the Naik's heart becomes more deeply attached when he is forbidden to meet his beloved, and when the doe-eyed beloved is difficult to attain. Look, although Krishna is at Maram, at the time of Ras Leela, he manifested himself in as many swarups as there are gopis, and then performed Leela with them. Every sadhak should follow Ras Leela. This is the same directive that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati is making. Here the special instruction is that if the sadhaks desire auspiciousness, they should enter this Rasa Leela as a bhakta, means as a servant of the Lord. But they should never imitate Krishna. In other words, they should enter this Leela only by becoming a follower of a gopi, by adopting the mood of gopi bhav. So this is directly from the Upadeshamrita of Rupa Goswami. Tannama Rupa Charita Adi Sukirtana Smitya Kramana Rastanamasyobje Tishtem Braje Tanuragi Janugami. That one must follow in the wake of the gopis of Vrindavan. Kalam Nayam Akilam Iti Upadesharam. This is the essence of all advice. Rupa Goswami is saying exactly the same. Vijay, can you kindly explain more elaborately the subject of Gopi Bhav? Someone may bring up an ancient history where Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he did not encourage this mood of his disciples at that time. I think it was perhaps in the mid-70s or a little bit later, in independently trying to access this mood of Gopi Bhav. This was not specifically what Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada came to establish. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada was preaching on a very, very broad platform. He was laying down the foundation for the next 10,000 years with his books of instruction, like the law books of Manu practically. He was laying down what is the focus on service to Krishna, what is Shuddha Bhakti. He was laying this down very closely. And if he had opened up that door to Gopi Bhav, that would have interrupted the mood of what he was trying to establish. That wasn't what he came to establish. He knew in the future other persons would establish that. Those who had become purified by the path that Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada had chalked out very clearly, those who had become purified sufficiently, they at some point in their maturity would start to inquire about these topics. And as soon as the sadhak starts to inquire about these topics, Krishna arranges for those sincere sadhaks to come in contact with those practitioners who are practicing and endeavoring into that subject matter. But it's not for the whole world to actually embrace this path of Raganuga Bhakti. The whole world can embrace Shuddha Bhakti, the path of pure devotion to Krishna, in Aishwarya Bhav. This Aishwarya Bhav is what is common, is what is more easily digestible for the conditioned soul, worshipping the Lord as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is more easy for the conditioned soul to accept. But the path of Raganuga requires more practice. So Prabhupada was initiating the flow of the platform of purification of the conditioned soul, so that one day they would be eligible. He gave the nectar of devotion. The nectar of devotion, by the way, is a superlative corollary book to follow through this Rasa Tattva. Just like the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu, the nectar of devotion goes through step by step, exactly the same topics. So Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, he gave these topics. But in his general preaching, he wasn't encouraging the devotees at that point, because most of the devotees were quite young at that time. Prabhupada was only preaching for 10 years. on the planet. So how could they be ripened fruits, so to speak, after just 10 years of preaching? They were all in a raw stage, and they needed more practice, more association with Srimad Bhagavatam, more association with Chaitanya Charitamrita to actually mature, and certainly association of Rasik, Tattvavik, Vaishnavas. This is essential. Without this type of association, then these truths can't be realized, because we see Vijay Kumar's journey here. First he was with Raghunath Das Babaji in Navadvip, who was giving him the foundation as well as pointing in the direction of the conclusion. And the direction for the conclusion was physically in Puri. And that Rasik Vaishnava is Gopal Guru, who is receiving these teachings from his guru, Vakreshwar Pandit, who was the deep associate of Sachinandan Gaurahari. So this is all the line. There's no anomaly, there's no fault anywhere. Everything is absolutely, beautifully, systematically laid out by Krishna's plan for the fortune of the conditioned souls at this time. Vijay, can you kindly explain more elaborately the subject of Gopi Bhav? Goswami, Nandanandan Krishna, the son of Nanda Maharaj, is a Gopa, and he does not perform amorous pastimes with anyone except the gopis. The sadhak, who is eligible for Shringara Ras, should engage in Krishna bhajan with the same bhav with which the gopis render loving service to Sri Krishna. I'll read that again, because this is absolutely essential to appreciate. The sadhak, this is the conditioned soul, who is eligible for Shringara Ras by his practice, etc., by the mercy of his guru, should engage in Krishna bhajan with the same bhav with which the gopis render loving service to Sri Krishna. I just quoted that verse from Rupa Goswami saying exactly the same thing. In the course of his bhajan, the sadhak should meditate on himself as a Braja Gopi. The sadhak should consider himself the maidservant of some extremely fortunate Brajavasini, female resident of Braj, and under her guidance should render services to Radha and Krishna. One cannot possibly awaken Ras unless one considers oneself Paroda, that is, married to a Gopa other than Krishna. It is this Paroda Abhiman, the self-conception of being married to a Gopa other than Krishna, that is the specific dharma of the Brajagopis. Sri Rupa Goswami has written, Maya Kalita Tadrika Shri Shilan Enan Unu Suyabihi Na Jatu Brajendu Devanam Pratibi Saha Sringamaha Sangamaha Ujvala Nilamani Krishna Bala Prakarana 19. The Braja Devis, who through the influence of Yogamaya consider themselves married to Gopas other than Krishna, never come in physical contact with their dharmic wedded husbands. At the time of the Gopis' Abhisar, rendezvous with Krishna and so on, the Gopis in their houses see forms of the Gopis that exactly resemble their own wives. These forms are fabricated by Yogamaya so that the Gopas will think to themselves, our wives are right here at home, and they never have any opportunity to be jealous or to feel enmity towards Krishna. So this is Yogamaya's arrangement to let the Parakiya Ras flourish in Braj. The Brajadevis never had physical contact with their lawful wedded husbands, who are all contrived by Yogamaya. So it's described in the Bhagavatam, many times the gopis were looking after children. But it's also described by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur that they were not the gopis' children, they were looking after others' children who weren't having that mood of parakiya with Brajendrananda and Shyam Sundar. So those children were being looked after by the gopis, not their own children. None of the gopis that come to the Ras Leela have been touched by their lawful wedded husbands. This is what it's saying. The Braj Devis never had physical contact with their lawfully wedded husbands, who were all contrived by Yogamaya. Each of the Brajagopis' husbands is only the manifestation from their respective bhavs in the Golok Leela. Their marriages are also nothing but an implicit conviction created by Yogamaya. The gopis are not actually married to other gopas, but the abhiman, or self-conception of being married to other gopas, is eternally present. All these are descriptions of the nature of parakya ras. If it were not so, it would naturally be impossible for the unprecedented parakya ras to manifest because of contrariness, vamata, inaccessibility, durlabhata, obstructions, social prohibitions, fear, and so on. The Nayaka Bhav of the Brajaras cannot be attained without such a conception. Lakshmi of Vaikuntha is an example of this. She cannot attain that Brajabhav because her conception of being Swakya, married, cannot break. So I'm going to stop here. But these are fascinating topics for us to appreciate more and more as we delve into them and read them constantly. But I think by reading them, we'll get a familiarity where all these truths are, and when they arise in Shastras that we're reading or studying, or Harikatha that we're hearing, we'll know where to reference these particular points, these subject matters, and go back and hear them again clearly with these solid presentations of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. So we stopped on page 666. Vijay. What is the bhav of knowing oneself as Paroda? Actually, we could read this on and on and on, but our time is concluded. Srila Gurudev Ki Jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Gaura Hari Bol, Gaur Prem, De Hari Hari Bol, Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhyacha, Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavena.